Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna remake one of my old posters from all the way back to 2018. Well, I've already done it, since this voiceover is recorded afterwards. Anyway, this is the poster I'm remaking. It's just Hannah in a forest sitting on a tree stump. It has a lot of potential, but since I was worse back then, I couldn't really do any better. The thing that stands out the most is a random ass lens flare in the sky. I guess it's supposed to be the moon, but why is it so goddamn bright? It doesn't really make sense, and it's ugly. So that's one thing I'm definitely fixing for the remake. Also, the camera angle is pretty shit. It has no life to it. It just looks like whoever took the photo is standing straight up, because it's angled a bit down. And the posing. It's very basic, very stiff, and just boring in general. I'm not saying I'm good at posing these days, but at least I'm a little bit better. And finally, the scene itself. Why would she just sit there in the rain with a random lantern beside her? And that goddamn lens flare. Plus, she's an inkling. She would die, which some of you have pointed out when I made the rain tutorial, and in my other posters. For me it doesn't really matter, but I thought I'd at least bring it up. Okay, now time to remake it. So, we have Hannah here, and I'm using the same map as the original. My plan is to not entirely recreate the scene. I'm gonna take the idea and try to make something better, but still making it recognizable. So right now, I'm posing the character right away, because I want to get it over with. I don't like posing very much. And I also gave her an umbrella, since some of you complained about that before. I know inklings can't survive in water, I just don't care. So now, the umbrella will protect her. So my idea is, she's walking in the forest, being scared and looking back to see if there's something hiding. Or in other words, she's scared of the dark. I mean, I can't blame her. And I also wanted her to hold the lantern in her other hand, instead of having it on a random tree stump. But then I noticed, the handle for the lantern I used in the original poster is way too big. As you can see, the lantern is way too low down. So I had to use a different one. Plus, the bright red doesn't really fit with the dark and gloomy scene. After posing the fingers, it was time for the facial expression. Well, actually, the camera first. I placed it a bit lower down and rotated it a bit to make it look a bit more interesting. Okay, now the face. I wasn't really sure how I wanted it. I wanted her to be scared or frightened, but not too much. But then eventually, I settled on something I thought looked fine. And now I'm tweaking the pose and the camera a bit, mostly the arms, to make it look a bit better. And now for the hair. If you haven't already noticed, I had the hair pulled back while posing so it wouldn't be in the way. That's a little trick I'd suggest doing if you have the same problem. But now for a bigger problem. I had no idea how to pose the hair, like at all. I tried making it go a bit to the side, but I never liked how it looked. I thought it looked unnatural. And now having seen the final result, the hair is probably one of the weakest parts of the poster. After that little sob story, I adjusted the pose once again. If you haven't noticed already, the umbrella is clipping, which is what I'm trying to fix. And now once again, I'm tweaking the pose. This commentary is so good, wow. But now no more posing, at least for a while. Now it's time to scene build. It's not really scene build, I'm already using a pre-made map. So the scene build is me placing down props like foliage. And now for the part I knew was gonna be quite hard. Lighting. The only light source in the scene is the lantern, so I needed to make that look good somehow. I kinda had to imagine what the lantern would light up, like a lot of Hannah and some of the bushes. But I needed to place them just right to make the shadows look good, or at least decent. The face won't look pretty if the light is shining up on you, so I really had to nail it. While I'm struggling with that, let's take a look at the original to compare them. Even though it's not done yet, it already looks better. If I can nail the lighting, it'll look pretty cool. But the editing is what's gonna take it to the next level, because I will be adding rain, color grading and more, so we'll see how that goes. And now it's time to export it. But first, I'm gonna set SFM's resolution to 4K. I have a video showing how to do that, I'll put it in the description. I'm gonna export it as a movie and only render out one frame of the quote-unquote animation, which is basically just a poster. Now it's finally time to edit, and I begin with making the dots on her tentacle hair glow, because I like how it looks. But it's quite hard to see them, so on some, I'm just guessing. And then I made the lantern actually glow, because I never made it lit up in SFM. I struggled a bit with it, but then I got a decent result. Then I made the dots in the hair and also her skin glow just a tiny bit. It's very subtle, but I think it looks a little bit better. And then it was time for the rain, and as I mentioned earlier, I have a video showing how to make rain in Paint.net, which is the program I'm using right now. It also probably works in Photoshop and other editing programs, so if you're interested, I have it in the description. I'm gonna have multiple layers of rain, so now I'm erasing it where Hannah is, so now it looks like the rain is behind her, and then I'm adding another layer of rain on top of everything, so it doesn't look flat and unrealistic. It's not much more to talk about, so I'm gonna speed up the time-lapse even more. So now I'm finishing up the rain, basically adding a third layer of rain and tweaking everything a little bit. Then I added a little lens flare to the lantern, so it looks cooler I guess. And then I did some color grading. I wanted it to be dark and gloomy, but also have quite a bit of color in it, so I needed to strike a balance, which sits in grading the colors. Then I made the bushes around her brighter, because all that editing kinda drowned out the brightness in them. Then some more stuff here and there, and then finally the watermark, and that's it! So here's the result. It's not exactly like the original, but that wasn't the point. The point was to take the idea and improve on it, which I think I've done. I wouldn't say it's my best work, but I'd say it's pretty alright. And if you want to see more videos where I make posters, I have a whole playlist. So that's it for the video, so thanks so much for watching and bye!